Yo, what's good? It's your man, 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. Yo, the New York Knicks, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I have gotten on the Knicks for so long because of James Dolan, how they've ran this franchise. It has been deserving of all of the criticism, all of the frustration from fans and media that it has gotten over the years. But you know what? When an organization begins to get it right and put it together, you also have to be there to give them their props, to congratulate them. And they have done exactly that. They have positioned themselves for this very moment to enter into the Bradley Beal sweepstakes. I'm going to dive into that in this video. If you enjoy it, smash the like button for me. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs, so subscribe, please. Hit the bell for notifications for more videos being posted. Look, I love this statement that Ryan Russillo made. I followed him for a long time. I enjoy his podcast and just his insight because he feels like a genuine ball player, not just somebody who critiques or loves watching the game, but somebody who also plays and loves playing and understands the nuances of the game better than some guys who just critique, right? And one of the things that he talks about is people don't realize how hard it is to win an NBA championship. They really have no idea how hard it is to win an NBA championship. How much luck is involved. How healthy you have to be. Right? Think about if Tyler Hero hadn't gotten hurt. Right? How that might have changed things. If Kyle Lowry was healthy all season for the Miami Heat, how that would have changed things going into that championship, that NBA Finals against the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets were 100% healthy going into the NBA Finals, being in the playoffs. They were 100% ready to go. They were rested. They were able to actually take the foot off the gas towards the end of the season because they were so dominant, because they had been able to maximize the potential of their team. Most of these teams who get championships, it's because they outlast their opponents health-wise. Then on top of that, you have to have great coaching, a great system, buy-in, chemistry, camaraderie, talent. You got to have high-end talent. You have to have guys who are on the right contracts, a superstar, a secondary star, guys who are all-stars in their roles, who play their roles to a T, like an Aaron Gordon and a Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Michael Porter Jr. You got to have all these things in place to win a championship. And so even when you are saying this team is contending, this team could win it, a lot has to break right for them. A lot has to go right. And that's not even to say, even what happens once you get there, the mental makeup of your superstars and your role players to be able to step into those moments, right? We all wish Joel Embiid stepped into the moment the way that Nikola Jokic did, or Giannis Antetokounmpo did, or Stephen Curry did, where they were able to step in and elevate themselves. We all wish Jason Tatum was able to do that when he was in the finals, right? That he struggled to. Not everybody has that. And so what it takes to get there is a lot. And so most teams are situating themselves to have a legitimate chance. Not a guarantee. There's very little ever guarantees when it comes to the game of basketball and winning a championship. The closest was probably, the Golden State Warriors when they had Kevin Durant, or the Miami Heat when they had LeBron and D-Wade and Chris Bosh. You knew they were going to break through, right? Sometimes you could just see it coming, but that's rare. That is so rare. And this is where it comes to the New York Knicks. You are positioned to have a legitimate shot. Let me be clear. Jalen Brunson might be a superstar. He might be a superstar. What he was able to do in last year's playoffs, actually in the last 2 years in the playoffs, one with Dallas, one with the Knicks, he showed that he has the ability to play at a level that matches or supersedes other superstar players, guys that we already consider to be superstars, right? Whether he's going up against a Donovan Mitchell and the Utah Jazz in Dallas, or whether he's going up against actually Donovan Mitchell again with the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? It doesn't matter who he sees in the playoffs. He elevates his game. He's going to get you that 25 to 30 points you need, and he'll do it in the clutch when it matters the most. He will hit the big shots. He will carry the load. He will make the right decisions. He has the leadership intangibles, the playmaking skills, the shot making and creating ability of a superstar. And so when you have him, and then you have a Julius Randle, who is a regular season all-star, all-NBA level player throughout the regular season. He is fantastic. During the playoffs, not so much. And this is where the Knicks have to buy into this. Is that when they look at the makeup of their team, they are positioned to be able to make this type of a move. Bradley Beal, look, I'm not going to talk about the money, because the reality is you have to recognize that the New York Knicks are the most valuable NBA franchise in the league and one of the top 3 franchises in American sports. I think it's like the Yankees, and then it's the Dallas Cowboys, and then it's the New York Knicks. They're in that triumvirate. They make billions of dollars every year, every season. Somewhere around like 4 to 8 billion, somewhere in that range. The last time I checked a few years ago, it was around like 4 point something billion when they weren't winning. Now they're winning. This team in the biggest market in the NBA. They make stupid money. James Dolan owns the television right. He has his own television, a local television network. He owns the land of the arena. He can borrow against the real estate. He has subsidiary businesses that complement the franchise, right? He's able to do so much just through ownership. He makes billions every year. Don't talk to me about the 20, 30, 40, even 50 million he's giving to players when he's still making 4 times that amount every year. I don't want to hear about that. So that aside, not only do they have the money, but it also fits with the salary cap. Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle are not being paid like all-stars. They're being paid like really good starters. Really good starters. Right? They're getting paid like the guys are like, yo, you can be a part of a championship team. You're not our main guy, but you could be a part of it. And yet those guys elevate into being the main guys. This is a gift. This is a gift that they have positioned themselves for. And you have to give props to Leon Rose and the front office, who saw the talent of a Jalen Brunson and went in and got him. Who saw Julius Randle and went in and got him. But not just that, they also have the depth. And this is the trade that I foresee. Trading Emmanuel Quickley. And I know some of y'all are going to get upset about this. Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, and Obi Toppin for Bradley Beal. Why do you need to include all 3 of those young guys? Because you have to understand you're competing with a team like the Golden State Warriors, who can offer Jordan Poole and Jonathan Kuminga. Both might be more talented than any of the 3 in New York. Now, the Knicks, I'm not sure if they have a first-round draft pick in this draft. I'm not sure. I can double check. But they would need to be able to offer all 3 of those guys and a pick to have a competitive offer to give the Washington Wizards for them to consider them over the Golden State Warriors. This is because Washington is looking to move into a rebuild, but nobody wants to rebuild with bare cupboards. They want to rebuild with something that can draw fans out, something that can keep them entertained and tell them that, hey, we're building something that you can be excited about. Look at these guys. And Obi Toppin, RJ Barrett, and Emmanuel Quickley have been incredible for the New York Knicks. They have been excellent players. They fill positions of need, and they give you the flexibility to still bring in other young stars around them or young star potential players who can come in and play big time roles alongside of those guys. Now, this is the beautiful thing about it, is that the Knicks really can't afford any of those guys. RJ Barrett, they recognize, is not going to be your third option on a championship team. He's going to be your fourth option. He's going to be your Tobias Harris, right? He's going to be your Harrison Barnes. He's going to be the guy that does a lot of things well. He'll do a lot of good things on the court. But you can't rely upon him to carry you. You can't rely upon him to be that guy for you when it matters the most. He's not going to get the ball and be like, I got this, guys. He's not really built like that. He doesn't have that explosive, quick first step, which means that he relies upon a lot of craft, a lot of footwork and methodology, change of pace, getting guys off balance, a low base. He still has to improve his handle. And as much as he has improved, you have to look at him and say, you're never going to be that dude. You're not going to be our primary wing scorer to balance out Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson. And so now they need to go get that guy. But the problem is they're paying RJ Barrett as if he is that guy. Now, the other two, Emmanuel Quickley. The problem is he's going to be a free agent after next season. And other teams see his talent. They see him as a future starter. And the inherent problem for the New York Knicks is they already have that dude in Jalen Brunson, who's playing like a superstar. They don't have room to pay both of them these large salaries for them to be backing each other up. That's not why you pay an Emmanuel Quickley what he will be worth in the free agency, just so he could be the backup to Jalen Brunson. Even if he comes off the bench in a six-man role and plays alongside of Brunson, I don't think that that's going to maximize the value that he's going to cost. And almost similarly, Obi Toppin, playing behind Julius Randle. Here's the thing. Nobody really wants Julius Randle. He's one of those guys that has somewhat of, I guess you could call him a head case at times. He can be disruptive, aloof, struggles with some leadership components. He's not necessarily a guy you want to bring in because he's going to come with that idea that, hey, I was an all-NBA player. I've been an all-star. I'm that dude unless you show me different. And the reality is, he's not that dude. He's not. He's not. So that means if you're not going to be able to move on from him and you're keeping him, which I'm not mad at all because I think Jalen Brunson brings out the best in Julius Randle, you're going to have to start looking at Obi Toppin differently. That he may be the guy you have to move on from because he is going to be due for his new contract after next season. And once again, you don't want to pay him $18 to $20 million a year to be a backup. That's not what you want to pay the backup. And so they have an opportunity to move on from all three and to bring in the guy who can be your number two, allowing Julius Randle to shift towards being a number three, which I think is he's best suited for, because I would rather have him focused on doing the dirty work, taking advantage of mismatches, looking great throughout the regular season. And then in the playoffs, Bradley Beal and Jalen Brunson go to work. And I love that Jalen Brunson has a little bit more size. Bradley Beal has a little bit more size at 6'4", 6'5", with a good wingspan. And he has a pretty strong base to guard shooting guards because you don't put yourself in that situation of Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, where you have two 6'1" guards trying to guard guys who are 6'2" to 6'5" and 6'6". Right? You're not going to have that diminutive backcourt. Now, on top of that, you have Bradley Beal with the opportunity to come to the Knicks. Bradley Beal coming to the Knicks would elevate the stature of his stardom. It would elevate him in a way where he can set himself to the position that he probably has always seen himself. That he believes in his talent. He believes he is a star-level athlete. And he's missed out on many all-star games because of his market, if we're honest. If he was in L.A., if he was with the Knicks or in New York and with Brooklyn or something like that, he would be able to, just because of his market, be in the All-Star game every single year because of his visibility. And playing in Washington has limited his visibility, preventing the larger NBA audience from being able to recognize him and see his talent for what it is. That he's a star level player. If you watch his highlights, there are very few shooting guards who can do what he does in terms of his explosiveness, his quick first step, his shooting ability at all three levels, beyond the three-point line, and able to get all the way to the rim and finish, his efficiency, and his playmaking. He playmakes for his teammates extremely well. He really is, I'm going to be honest, he might be a quicker Devin Booker. He's not as big physically, but he's strong. And he's probably quicker. But he's similar level as a Devin Booker. Definitely as a Jamal Murray. And so he's definitely somebody that you can say in a playoff series, you want to look over your shoulder and see next to you. And if he can do that in New York and elevate this team to an Eastern Conference Finals, even him being on that team between Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, a supporting cast like Mitchell Robinson, still got guys you're going to re-sign like Josh Hart, still got Evan Fournier, who's an excellent shooter off the bench, Quentin Grimes, Miles McBride, Deuce McBride, right? Isaiah Hartenstein. He may have to be in the trade to make the money work. But you've got, Jericho Sims. You've got other guys on that roster and veterans you could probably grab to fill in who would make that team a legitimate contender. And if you're in New York being considered a championship contender, do you know how that increases your marketability and your visibility throughout the league, throughout the world? Playing in the Mecca. All his moves, the crowd recognizes, is going to be on SportsCenter. He's going to be in the All-Star game year after year after year for the next 3 to 4 years. That type of opportunity is one that he has to be itching for after being somewhat in the back garage of the NBA in Washington, who hasn't been in the playoffs for the past, 4 or 5 years since John Wall left? So, as always, I want to know what you all think. Do you think that the New York Knicks need to go all in for Bradley Beal? Do you think Bradley Beal would want to go to the Knicks? For me, I think that's the second option outside of the Golden State Warriors. But as always, holler at me in the comment section. We're going to chop it up there. Smash the like button for me. Hit subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs. Smash that like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications for more videos. I got a couple more videos to do on this Bradley Beal sweepstakes. And I'm going to holler at y'all next time. Peace.